What's going on YouTube? So the Audi A3 has always served as a very important starting point in the Audi lineup, with very little sacrifice from its bigger and more expensive siblings.
And for 2025, the A3 is getting refreshed with new features, new design, and more power than before.
So, is the most affordable Audi actually the best one to buy? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, so let's get started here with our spec dump under the hood. So what we have is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with a mild hybrid system, making it 201 horsepower for the A3 model. This is going to be paired to a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. We have newly standard Quattro all-wheel drive on all models, and our combined fuel economy is 28 mpg.
Now, the base price for the A3 this year is as little as $38,000, and if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to secure the best price. Now, of course, we will be taking it out for a spin to see some of that new performance. We'll also be getting things like our sound level reading, as well as discussing resale and reliability at the end.
But it's time to go ahead and close up the hood because they've made some big changes to the exterior as well as the interior. Now, like I was just mentioning, Audi did make some changes to this exterior design, and that really begins up here in the front. This has always kind of had a very handsome design that looks a lot like their larger and more expensive sedan models. That is going to be the case now as well, except we've got the new frameless single frame grille. So as you can see, this is going to be finished in a black mesh all across here. There's no border around it. And then down here on your lower fascia, this is also revised. You'll notice that it kind of has a smoother appearance than before. And we also have blacked out accents because today's model has the black optic package. I think that's certainly a good thing to select if you want your vehicle to look a little bit more aggressive overall. Now, you also probably noticed that the lighting is different as well. We've got a brand new full LED light on board. This actually comes with the new reconfigurable daytime running light as well, so you can change that signature to 3 different designs that you prefer. We've got the dynamic turn signal indicator as well, and overall this is just a very premium looking headlight cluster. Now as we walk around to the back, they have made some tweaks here as well.
So what are those tweaks? Well, mainly they're going to do with your lighting. So I'm going to have Drew go ahead and hop inside so you can see some of these updated lighting elements. But you know, Audis are always about lighting. Even the most affordable model definitely prioritizes it. So as you'll see, we have a different overall taillight shape this year with the different lighting components inside. It is a full LED taillight, so you have LED brake light, LED reverse light, and your LED amber turn signal indicator. It does also have that dynamic ability as well. And then as we drop down to the lower fascia, since we just have the A3 model, it's going to be pretty much sealed off, no exposed exhaust outlets. However, you of course can get that with the S3 and RS3 variants.
Moving on to the wheels, these have also been changed for 2025. You've got some new designs. You have 17 and 18-inch options on the A3. You can actually get 19s on the S3. And overall, it has a nice contrast appearance to it. As far as our mirrors are concerned, you've got a lot of good features on board, including blind spot monitoring and heating. The Premium Plus grade is also going to give you power folding and auto dimming.
Now at the side, this vehicle comes in at about 177 inches long, and as far as design elements, I do want to point out what really makes this vehicle look so good is that this front pillar is actually kind of blacked out, so it gives you that panoramic, almost two-tone roof experience, so that's certainly very nice. And as far as your safety systems are concerned, Audi is going to be including 2 of those as standard equipment. Now, if you further want lane keeping assist as well as adaptive cruise control, you will have to at least choose this Premium Plus grade A3. But guys, there are some updates on the inside as well, so let's go ahead and dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then, we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from our long-term vehicle videos to our side-by-side comparisons, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. All right, moving on to the inside, we'll take a look at the key fob. First of all, This is kind of the typical Audi key fob. It doesn't have the gloss back finish though on the A3 lineup. You do get smart entry if you choose the Premium Plus or the convenience package for the base model. Reaching behind the handle, that will unlock the door. And then let's take a look inside at the interior. So just like with the exterior, it's not a whole full design change, but there are a lot of individual details that they did tweak. Before we get into those things specifically though, I want to start off by talking about the seats. So one of the nice things about Audi is their entire lineup comes standard with the real leather seats. So what you'll notice is the fact that even though this is the most affordable model, you have real leather as standard equipment. We've got the more luxurious brown color option. Of course, you have some more conventional options as well. Nice stitching details. We also have some color contrast suede running down the back side. In terms of adjustments, you've got 12 ways of power adjustment, including 4-way lumbar support. The Premium Plus also adds in memory seats. But let's go ahead and hop inside. As I close up the door there, it does shut very solidly, as we expect from a German vehicle. And let's look at the rest of the cabin materials, because this is really an area where Audi spent a lot of time, was kind of just elevating this interior with some new material selections. So starting out over here on our door trim, we've got the leatherette that runs through here with a stitching detail. As you can see, it's the matching brown. Through the center section, we've got more leatherette. They've now kind of put this texture in it to give it a little bit more visual interest. Across the top here is a soft touch plastic, and as we move to the upper dashboard, as you can see, this is now finished in a leatherette with a stitching detail. We have some piano black that goes across our vent detailing, and you'll notice that we've got some real wood trim here, which looks quite nice. Finally, down here on our lower panels, we've got some plastic here that looks like aluminum. Overall, it does feel very solid. Now let's go ahead and fire it up with our push button start. And now that it's fired up, let's get into some individual details. We'll begin here with our gauge cluster. All models are going to get a digital gauge cluster, either 10.5 inches or 12.3 inches, and they have, mostly the same functionality. You can kind of scroll between all those typical pieces of information you expect to see, and you can press that button there to kind of minimize and maximize the overall look. No head-up display on this model. You can get it, though, if you get the S3. And then as we move back to the steering wheel, you're going to notice we've got that typical Audi steering wheel with the nice leather wrapping, rain-sensing wipers, of course, and it is manual tilt and telescoping. All right, but let's go ahead and talk a little bit about interior storage. You're probably wondering about that. Since this is a relatively small sedan, how much space do we get? First of all, I do want to point out the armrest does adjust here for 2025, and let's open it up here. And then inside of the console there, you'll notice, of course, it is pretty small. We've got 3 donuts inside. That's how we measure the volume of the center consoles, is with donuts. A dozen is a pass. This fits 3 and even kind of smashes those 3, so it has a little asterisk next to that. That being said, you don't expect a lot in a vehicle like this. You've got your 2 cup holders still, and then I do like that this area up here is left nice and large for all types of phones. It is a wireless phone charging pad as well if you choose the Premium Plus trim level. Now, taking a look at the shifter, this is new for 2025. Audi was looking at that previous little 1-inch nub and said, let's make it even smaller this year. As you can see now, it's basically flat. You just kind of grab up there with the tips of your finger and pull back for drive. You can bump again to go into sport mode and shift manually with these paddle shifters on the steering wheel. Press it forward to go into reverse. When you do, you'll be greeted with this standard backup camera. As you can see, this is just the regular one with active trajectory. You have front and rear parking sensors, as well as the park assist function. And Audi does say that a 360 view camera will become available in 2025, but it's not yet on this model. Just press the P right there for park. Back behind the shifter, you also have an electronic parking brake. Now, continuing our interior tour, the next place we should come to is right over here to the right-hand side of the shifter, and that is basically our audio hub. So what we have on board is actually a brand new audio system this year. It comes on the Premium Plus trim level. It's a Sonos premium sound system, and how you actually control this in terms of the volume is just kind of spinning around the outside edge there. So let's go ahead and give it a sample. Yeah, I have to say, overall sound quality of this system is quite good. It really fills up the cabin nicely. This is our first time experiencing this brand in an Audi product, and I like it. All right, so moving on, we've got our climate controls here. This is dual zone automatic climate. We have full physical controls, which is pretty refreshing these days. You just bump up and down to make those temperature adjustments. Also, inside this area is where you have your adjustment for your 3-stage heated seats. Those are standard equipment on all models. Just be aware you cannot get ventilated seats on the A3. Up here above, we have our main infotainment screen. This is 10.1 inches. It's not really any different than it was last year, so it continues to have the latest Audi software on board. It's not that brand new multi-screen arrangement that we're just now seeing launch, but it does still have wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay abilities, as you were just seeing right there. You can also add navigation to this model if you want to pay a little bit extra. Up above here, we've got an auto-dimming mirror, built-in compass, and HomeLink universal remotes down there in the bottom. Then I'll go ahead and press this button here to pop open our sunroof. The sunshade does not attach to it, so you do have to slide this back yourself. But as you can see, this is a wide sunroof. So Audi refers to this as panoramic. It is a little bit bigger than what you would typically expect in a sedan in this class.
Let's go ahead and talk about the rear seat area for the A3. Now, this is one place that I'm actually very, excited to tell you about, because normally in this segment, these rear seats are very not ideal, put it that way. They're very small and cramped and have no features, but this A3 actually is quite a bit bigger than a lot of things in the segment. So as far as the legroom is concerned, we are going to be sitting at about 35 inches of legroom and about 36 inches of headroom. That means for someone who is 5'9" like myself, you can fit back here perfectly fine. The headroom is going to be a little tight, especially if you're maybe 6 foot tall or greater. However, our knee room is actually really good because they've also included these knee cutouts, so we're looking at over 6 inches of additional knee room with the seat adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8", and my feet can easily slide up underneath of the seat. Now, as far as features are concerned, here in the center, we are going to get our own vents. I do think that this is maybe a new finish on the vent itself. It feels a lot more premium than I remember it. And then down below, we have this little wheel that kind of adjusts the temperature, but we're not going to have our own zone of climate per se. 2 USB-C ports are down here as standard equipment. We do have a little bit of a center tunnel. If we fold down the center armrest, we do have 2 cup holders inside. It's actually a pretty nice placement of the cup holders as well. It doesn't impede on your resting of your arm. Then over on the door trim, they did cheap out on the top part, though. It is going to be a hard touch on this part. However, most of it is still going to be covered in a leatherette, which is quite nice. And then there's a bit of bottle storage down in the very bottom, more than you'd expect out of a sedan. Now, walking up to the tailgate, in order to open it, you just press that button right there. It is very nicely dampened, so it's almost like having a power tailgate. And as far as the cargo space is concerned, now, this is going to be a little bit on the smaller side. It's going to be about 8.3 cubic feet of space, according to Audi. Now, that is not a massive amount of space. If you're wanting more, maybe check out the Audi Q3, which of course is related to this. That's the SUV version. And let's go ahead and get our cargo length, width, and height figures. So, as far as overall cargo length, you can expect about 37 inches of length from behind the second row of seats. As far as cargo width is concerned, 35 inches. And here's the area, really, why the volume is so low is because it's very shallow. So keep that in mind. It's only about 16 inches tall. So not a very tall trunk. You won't be able to stack up or anything like that. However, they are including 40-20-40 split folding seats, which I do really like because that does mean that you can have 4 passengers and a really long object. Underneath of the floor, they are including a spare tire as well. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the Audi A3. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now. We'll also be getting our sound level reading. But first, we want to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
All right.
Nice.
That was a quick little jaunt up to about 60 miles an hour. in the A3.
Quick is a good word to describe it.
Yeah, quick, definitely. Honestly, quicker than you might expect, given the power figures I'm getting ready to tell you. 201 horsepower, 236 pound-feet of torque, which obviously aren't huge numbers, but this is a small little guy as well, so that's kind of the thing a lot of people don't think about, is the fact that this is pretty small and this is spunky. 0 to 60 is about 6 seconds, actually, so that is, again, quite quick for a vehicle with this power figure.
Yeah, that's for sure. It is up about 15 pound-feet of torque, and it does have a mild hybrid system. So overall, we've been very impressed with it. The several previous model years that we've been in this A3 really, I think, is going to be plenty of power for 95% of people's needs. Now, if you do want more power, Audi will happily sell you an S3, which of course does get you more power. It's the same setup, but tuned to have 328 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. That goes 0 to 60 in a very quick 4.4 seconds. And then, of course, they have the top model, the RS3, which does have a completely different engine setup. It's a 5-cylinder, and that's blisteringly quick. So just know that Audi does offer quite a few different options if you want a performance-oriented A3.
Now, talking about the other element of the powertrain, let's discuss the transmission. We've got a 7-speed automatic transmission. It's a dual-clutch automatic, and overall, this is a pretty snappy performer. I think they went with the dual clutch just to give you a little bit of a more sporty feel versus some of the other Audi products. And, when you put your foot down, you get nice crisp shifts. You don't have to wait too long for a downshift at all. Just be aware, I like to always remind people of it, if you've never been in a dual clutch before, at low speeds, like as you kind of creep along in traffic or something like that, you get a little bit of a lurchy feel to it. It's completely normal, but it is just a little bit of a different feel if you're used to a conventional automatic.
Yeah, and power is going to be routed to the ground via newly standard Quattro all-wheel drive. Previously, you used to be able to get a front-wheel drive version of this A3 to kind of reduce the price a little bit, but I'm very happy to tell you that Audi has just kind of gotten rid of that base model, went straight to Quattro all-wheel drive without raising the price too much this year. So certainly that's a nice thing. You kind of expect that out of an Audi product to have Quattro all-wheel drive, and now that is going to be included across the board for 2025.
As we go around this sweeping corner here, let's talk a little bit about the suspension. So the black optic package is more than just visual on this model. It actually does tweak the suspension a little bit, gives you the sport-tuned suspension. But overall, this is a reasonably sporty product in the Audi lineup anyways. So, of course, being a low-profile sedan, as you go around corners, not much body roll overall. The steering is lightweight, which is typical for Audi, but it is nice and responsive.
All right, but we are on our designated strip of road to go ahead and get our sound level reading. So if we can speed up to 55 miles per hour, I'll go ahead and make sure that our fan speed is toggled to 1. 56.5 is our official sound level reading in the refreshed 2025 Audi A3. We don't have to sit here and guess how it compares to other subcompact luxury sedans. We can find that at carconfections.com/sound level readings. All right, and how does that compare? Well, that's going to certainly be one of the quietest luxury subcompact sedans that we've tested out. Comes in quieter than the Mercedes CLA, the Audi S3 that we tested out. It makes sense why this one's a little quieter than that. So certainly it's going to be a pretty quiet and premium experience. And that leads me into talking about ride quality as well. That's one of the things that I do like about this A3 is that it has a good ride quality for someone shopping in this segment. When you hit a bump, it does a reasonably good job of soaking things up. Also, these seats I do find to be quite comfortable. Now, it is worth noting. Now, if you're coming from like a more premium luxury product or maybe an SUV, this is going to be a little bit on the sportier side. It's a very tossable vehicle. Audi knows the customer base for this, so it does, let in some type of, intrusions every once in a while, but that's really just in the name of being a little bit sportier for their customer.
Right, absolutely. All right, let's get into today's airball and slam dunk. I'll begin with the slam dunk, and that's just going to be the overall value proposition of this vehicle. You really get a lot for the money. Even after you add some options, they're all pretty reasonably priced options, to be honest. And, overall, it just makes a lot of sense, especially with some of the improvements that they made for 2025.
Now, on the airball side of things, what we are going to say is that this doesn't have the latest and greatest tech. We're a little disappointed that for the refresh, they didn't really change a lot when it came to the technology department. This is the same. That's pretty much the same. So it's just one of those things. It doesn't feel very different inside of this cabin, especially with, the latest Audi interiors coming out with a lot more screens and assumedly better technology. So I do hope that maybe in the future Audi will add that to this model. And let's talk about fuel economy now that we're sitting here at this red light, and the mild hybrid system is certainly working. It's went ahead and powered off the engine.
Pretty smooth when it starts back up as well.
Yeah. And as far as the fuel economy, it's sitting at 24 city, 34 highway, 28 combined. So a really big delta between your city and highway fuel economy numbers. So definitely note that. But 28 overall is a pretty decent rating for a vehicle of this size. The S3 goes to 26 mpg combined. It is worth noting, though, that you don't have to use premium fuel on this A3. The S3 does require premium fuel. And let's discuss pricing for the A3. Now, that's one of the very most attractive things about this vehicle, because at the very beginning I said it starts at $38,000. So that is our base price, $38,000. If you want the Premium Plus, that's going to add $2,600. We also have a few additional little options like the Black Optic package. After $1,295 destination, we are sitting at $44,735 as tested today, which I think is actually a pretty good value for what you're getting here. Now, if you're looking to buy an Audi A3 or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation and can help the dealers to start competing on price. Additionally, we even have a monthly payment tool if you're interested in checking that out. Once again, a link to that is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a vehicle is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's dive into resale and reliability. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Audi A3's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth around 40.5% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 14.4% of original MSRP. Now, it is worth noting that is definitely going to be on the lower end for resale value by percentage. It's lower than industry average. That's typical for German luxury brands. However, do keep in mind this is definitely on the lower end of the price spectrum for the Audi brand, so that does actually normally increase your resale value percentage just a little bit, so I'd maybe expect a little higher on this model.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. This takes into account several studies on reliability from trustworthy sources and combines it in a way that gives you a more holistic picture. In this regard, Audi is rated below the overall industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our reliability resale data or our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Also important to consider is the warranty. Audi has a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic and powertrain warranty, and they do not do complimentary maintenance. Guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the refreshed 2025 Audi A3. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decision, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to get the latest car reviews such as this, and you're also going to be a part of our Car Confections family. I promise you won't want to miss out on that because we have a lot of fun, review a lot of cool cars as well. If you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.